Hi, let's talk about how to improve your children's academic performance. You're welcome. Now, if you're listening to me and your children are not doing well in school, then this is a video you should pay attention to. I'm a firm believer that there are no dull children anywhere. God didn't create failures. Every child is made in the image of God. If a child is not doing well academically, it is a pointer to the fact that that child is not paying attention to certain things. So in this video, we'll be discussing about 5 things that you should pay attention to as a parent to improve your children's academic performance. Now, it's possible also that you're listening to me and your children are already doing well in academics. That is beautiful. But it is said that the largest room in the world is the room for improvement. So this video is equally for you. Whether your children are doing well or they're not doing well, this video has something for you, okay? So let's look at the very first thing you need to do if you want to encourage your children to begin to do well in school, if you want to improve the academic performance of your children. The very first thing you need to do is to encourage your children to read more. Yes, when it comes to academic performance, reading is at the core. To do well academically, somebody must have to pay attention to reading. That was the example that the mother of Ben Carson left for us several years ago. Mrs. Carson had 2 sons who were in school and they were doing so poorly in school. So poorly were they doing that the school's guidance counselor invited her and advised her to withdraw her children so they could go learn a trade. The school concluded that the boys were not good for school. They were not good academically. Now, this woman thought of what to do. She didn't have much education. She was a cleaner in the house of a wealthy American. But in that home where she worked as a cleaner, she noticed that there were a lot of books, okay? So what did she do? She encouraged her children to watch less television. In fact, she reduced or restricted their television hours to just 2 programs in a week. And then she told them to go to the local library, borrow 2 books every week, make sure they read 2 books every week, okay? So you see that in life, for you to do more of a particular thing, you have to do less of another thing. So these children needed to read more, so they had to reduce the time they devoted to watching television and time used for hanging out with the boys. So they sat down and began to read. And then the amazing thing that happened was that when they began to read, their grades in school began to improve. The children that were formerly known as F students, formerly known as students who were no good academically, they began to improve and they now began to have A's in their courses. And eventually those boys went ahead to become highly successful in life. I think Ben Carson ended up as one of the best neurosurgeons in the world, while Curtis, his brother, ended as an aeronautic engineer. Now, their story shows us the fact that if a child is doing poorly in academics today, there is room for improvement. All you need to do as a parent is to put down the rules. And because this woman was able to put down the rules, she was able to produce rulers. Someone says that where there are no rules, there can be no rulers, okay? So you put down the rules for your children, let them remove distractions and let them read more. As soon as a child begins to read more, you will be able to begin to improve in his academics, okay? So that's the very first thing to do. If you want your children to improve in their academics, encourage them to read more. Now, the next thing you need to do if you want to encourage your children to improve in their academics is to put down a routine. Yes. Routine is very key when it comes to success in anything, because you see, it's not the things we do occasionally that makes us successful in life. The things that make us successful, the things that help us to become successful in life are the things we do on a daily basis. Man is a creature of habits. The things that we do on a daily basis are so important. So if you want your children to improve in their academics, you should be able to set a routine. You should be able to set up time and say between this time and this time is time for reading. Between this time and this time, you should be able to do this. So once a child knows that this is reading time, it will help that child in a lot of ways. It will help that child to be more focused. It will help that child to be more disciplined. The child will not have a lot of distractions because a time has been set for reading. You will be able to read at that particular time. I tell people that in this life, until something becomes specific, it doesn't get dynamic, okay? Until a thing becomes specific, it doesn't get dynamic, it doesn't get progressive. So you should be able to set a routine. Routine is at the core of success in anything we do, right? Including improving in our academics, okay? That's the second thing to do. The third thing you need to do is to set up an environment that is conducive for learning. An environment that is conducive for learning. I'll say again that when it comes to success in anything, when it comes to success in reading, success in academics, environment is key, because there are environments where you thrive and there are environments that are destructive. There are environments that do not enhance learning, reading and comprehension. Now, if it is in the home and you're setting up a place where the children will read, make sure it's a place that is well lighted, okay? The lighting has to be good. Let it not be that the children are reading in a dim place. Let the place, if it is possible, let them have natural lighting. Natural lighting is usually very good for reading and comprehension. It's a lot better than artificial lighting. In fact, if it's possible for the painting in the room to be cozy and friendly, is a lot better. And then make sure that there is less noise. Noise is not a friend to learning anywhere, whether at home or in the school, right? Okay, so you get the reading environment at home, right? And I am a big fan, I'm a firm believer that every child needs to be in good schools. Yes, I love the fact that there are very good schools around. Look out for one and register your children there. To the best of our ability, put your children in very good schools. Schools where they are not cramped up, because the seating arrangement can affect the child's ability to comprehend. If it's a school where children are cramped together, they won't be comfortable. And when a child is not comfortable, it gets tired easily. And once the child is tired, motivation for reading is zero. So to the best of your ability, put your children in schools that, that are good. Most times, very good schools do not translate to the most expensive schools. Make your inquiries, visit, okay? When my children are in school, I am involved. PTA, you will see me there. And whoever is their teacher is my friend. Whoever is their teacher, I'm in communication with the teacher of my children, because this is equally very important. Children usually have a very high opinion of who their teacher is. That's why when they are much younger, you tell them, come, let me teach you this. They say, no, you're not my teacher. They have a high opinion of their teachers. That's why it's so important that who teaches your children is important, right? Who teaches your children shouldn't just be anybody. Should be somebody who is positive, somebody who should be able to bring out the champion in that child, not somebody who is negative and who will speak negativity into your children, right? It's so important that they are in a school, that the environment is beautiful and the teachers are good. And if it is at home, ensure that wherever it is that they read, that the place is conducive for learning with minimal noise. Now, having said that, the next thing that you need to do if you want to improve the academic performance of your children is to ensure that they have healthy habits. Yes, ensure that they have healthy habits. You see, habits are core to our success in life, because man is a creature of habits. There are habits that inhibit learning. For instance, if a child has a very poor eating habit, it will affect learning. Why? Because when a child eats something that is over sugared, over processed, something that has too much maybe chemicals, maybe some of these non-food foods, the food or whatever a child eats affects his mood. And there is a mood. If a child is in a wrong mood, he will not be able to learn, he will not be able to comprehend, okay? And another thing is that if a child who has unhealthy eating habits, we fall sick. And we know that whenever we are sick, whenever we are not feeling optimally in our health, it affects every other thing, including our ability to learn and to comprehend. So ensure that your children feed well. To the best of your ability, make sure that they eat well, right? That is so important. And just like food also, it affects other habits. If a child has a habit, for instance, a child is distracted, has a habit of watching a lot of cartoons, a habit of watching videos, a habit of playing too much games. Nobody is saying that children will not be children. You know, sometimes some mothers will ask me, my problem is that my child plays too much. I say, if a child doesn't play, is it me that will play? Children should play. But remember, everything should be in moderation, okay? So if a child is indulging himself too much in excesses, in watching of home videos and all those things, he will not have enough time to devote to his reading. Another thing is that a child who is captivated, whose interest and passion is captivated by some of these things, will not have the motivation, will not have the interest to devote more time to his reading. And once your motivation and interest is not in reading, it affects every other thing. So that's why it's so important that you pay attention to the habits that your children form. You can help them to form the right habits. Now, having said that, the last thing I want to discuss in this video today is the fact that you should motivate your children. This is so key. This is so key. I'm a firm believer that every child needs the mother or the father to be their cheerleaders. I am the greatest cheerleader of my children. I am the one that's telling them, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. You can excel in this. You have the ability to do this, okay? So motivate your children. Speak to the greatness in them. You see, in this life, it's whatever we call that answers us. It's what we call the answers. So call out the greatness in your child and it will answer you. So motivate your children. Tell them that they are made in the image of God. Tell them that they are an extension of God. Tell them that there is a God deposit in them and that they can do great things. And once your child believes you, what a child believes drives him. What a child believes drives his action. So if you keep prophesying, you keep declaring, you keep speaking to the greatness in that child, and once that child believes what mommy says, you will see that the next thing is that you will begin to walk towards it, and those things will eventually become a reality for the child, okay? So I want to encourage you to pick my book on how to give your children a reading culture so that you read a lot more things on what to do to bring out the best in your children. I probably have it in a video course. You can decide to watch the video. It is cool. Another thing you need to do is to subscribe to my channel so that each time I release any of these videos, YouTube will notify you. Thank you for being a part of this video. If you've not watched my last video, please ensure that you watch it. In that video, I talked about how to incentivize your children to excel in life. It's an absolutely beautiful video. Get it. It's the video that will come next. Just click on it and watch it. And until I come your way next time, remain richly blessed.